Girls, what surprised you the most when you moved in with your boyfriend? My man cranks the AC like we live in a walk-in freezer, wraps himself in 3 blankets, and then complains he's too hot. I watch this ridiculous scene every single summer night, and I swear he's just testing how many times he can overheat and cool himself down in one evening.
Meanwhile, I'm living the dream. Fan on full blast, AC going at max power, 2 blankets over me, and 1 leg sticking out. Perfect balance of warm and cool.
My boyfriend once said we should get one of those little rugs for the bathroom. You know, the kind that wraps around the toilet. When I asked why, he casually said it's probably so you don't have to clean the floor when he misses. Apparently, he spent his whole life thinking those rugs were literally made for peeing on.
Ew. Seriously? What the hell?
Even though he's clearly balding, he insists that I keep buying him volumizing shampoo. Babe, I love you, but it's not gonna work, honestly.
Blah, blah, blah. Can't hear you. Pretending this conversation isn't happening. Every morning, when I wake up and head to my desk, I work from home, I inevitably find his pants, jeans, socks, and shoes scattered on the floor. For some mysterious reason, after I fall asleep, he changes in the living room and just leaves everything there. I swear, if I stopped picking it up, by the end of the week we'd have an entire mountain in the corner big enough to host guided tours.
Don't even bother cleaning it. Give it time and you might end up with a whole mountain range, complete with valleys, minors, and tiny little settlements.
Ever since my boyfriend and I moved in together, I realized one thing. I absolutely love having someone help me with house chores. I used to live with some awful roommates who hated cleaning. To be fair, I'm a bit of a clean freak, so my standards are higher than average. But my boyfriend always helps me with whatever I ask, and I really love that there's always someone by my side now. Even if I'm just running to the store, he's more than happy to come along.
Sounds like you two are doing it right.
Scrolling on the toilet is sacred for a guy. Perfect time to catch up on all the news you missed and browse Reddit. It's just a little annoying when you really need the bathroom and he's been in there for half an hour already. My boyfriend is always shocked at how fast I poop. He has no idea how it's even possible to be done in under 10 minutes.
God, I've been married for 15 years and I still don't get it. How can anyone sit on the toilet for more than 10 minutes?
You know, if you eat like a guy, you poop like a guy. If you eat like a bird, you poop like a bird. Where do entire buckets of loose change even come from? That's nothing. You probably just haven't found his box of absolutely unnecessary wires, cables, and random adapters yet. I promise you, he has one. What do you mean I don't need a DVI-D to D-sub adapter? Or 10 old power bricks? Or Ethernet cables in every possible length? Sure, maybe not today, but someday I will. And of course, that someday will be the day right after you throw them all away. Turns out he can sit at his computer from morning till night playing video games without stopping for food, the bathroom, or even turning the lights on. I'm so hooked on one game right now that I sometimes genuinely forget the bathroom exists. I only remember when my buddy takes a break. My guy's the same way. I'll leave the house for like 6 hours, come back, and he's still gaming. I ask why he hasn't eaten or even turned the lights on, and he just goes, "I forgot." Good thing breathing is an automatic reflex.
I've noticed this weird little ritual guys have when they're super hungover. They just sit in the shower looking like they've lost all hope. My fiance once sat there with a face so pitiful he looked like a sad sea lion questioning his life choices. Then there's a whole other level of hangover. The kind where you just sink down onto the shower tiles, letting the water run over you while you half-heartedly fight through the pain. That's when the flashbacks from last night start rolling in. The crushing wave of regret hits as you remember all the things you said and did. So you just sit there, mentally preparing for the cleanup job ahead. They don't eat 3 times a day. Why bother with 3 meals when you can just load yourself up with 1 or 2 massive plates that leave you barely able to get up from the table
and then they're surprised when they feel like passing out for 2 hours afterward.
My wife still can't wrap her head around the fact that I can't have a conversation while I'm on the toilet. Damn it, when I'm sitting on my porcelain throne, I want complete solitude with myself and this sacred process. I couldn't care less if my blue shirt isn't washed or if the kitchen is literally on fire. This is my time and is not to be interrupted. The second a guy steps through the front door, everything from his pockets, loose change, keys, random receipts, mysterious bolts, somehow ends up scattered all over the apartment. Also, after moving in together, I realized I love wearing his t-shirts. They're 100 times more comfortable than mine. And honestly, it's amazing having someone who genuinely compliments your cooking, even if it's just scrambled eggs. Oh, the pocket thing is so real. We've got an ongoing battle at home about proper habits. For him, a t-shirt isn't dirty unless it smells, is damp, or has visible stains. Before it hits the laundry, he's perfectly fine wearing it a few times. Same thing with making the bed. In his eyes, it's a complete waste of time. His logic, why bother if you're just gonna mess it up again at night? My take is, what if guests come over? He's like, why would they even go into the bedroom to check our bed? And even if they did, what's the big deal if it's unmade? Meanwhile, I'm over here worrying they'll think we don't even sleep there. So basically, it's an ongoing war. His practicality and efficiency versus my love for aesthetics and order. I'm a girl, but honestly, I don't see the point of washing a shirt if it doesn't have stains or smell bad. If I wore it for only half a day, came home, changed into my pajamas and a hoodie, why wouldn't I wear it again later? Especially if nobody even saw me in it the first time. The guys I've lived with never cared about stuff like this at all. After living with different guys, including my current boyfriend, I've realized they're all completely different. Some are lazy and messy, some are neat freaks, and some have their own weird little habits you could probably write a whole book about. Funny, right? Like, who would have thought different people act differently? Shocking. I've noticed my current boyfriend is actually way tidier and cleaner than I am. I've always considered myself a bit of a slob, so it doesn't exactly surprise me, but it still cracks me up. When I moved in with my dad, the first surprise was realizing he never cooked or cleaned. He had a housekeeper for that, and every single meal he ate was at a restaurant. Living with him also left me convinced that it was physically impossible for a man to use the bathroom without somehow peeing on the wall. Years later, when I moved in with my boyfriend, I got my second surprise. He's a total neat freak, loves to cook, keeps everything spotless, and miraculously always manages to aim perfectly. As a teenager, that was a big revelation for me. Men can be just as different from each other as women are. I just figured it out a little late, since I grew up surrounded by women and hardly ever saw how men live day to day. When my boyfriend gets sick, it's basically the end of the world. Got a runny nose? Goodbye, cruel life. Sore throat? Might as well order the headstone. The vibe is like he's been diagnosed with at least 3 terminal illnesses at once. Honestly, I think when I one day go through painful, exhausting childbirth, I might finally understand what it's like to be a man with a mild cold. As guides, we usually try to hide it as long as humanly possible. If a man actually admits he's sick, then trust me, he's really sick. If I'm complaining about a sore throat and a stuffy nose, I probably also have a 102-degree Fahrenheit fever and my body is running on 3% battery life. Yep, I only throw in the towel when I can hear death herself knocking on my door asking if I've got tea. Maybe this is just my boyfriend, but I'm still amazed at how easygoing he is when it comes to household stuff. He stopped leaving the toilet seat up, hates vacuuming, but has no problem mopping the floors, and whenever I cook, he jumps in to do the dishes without me asking. Honestly, I was worried living together might cause tension, but nope,
our relationship has gotten 10 times stronger. Turns out we're actually a great team. When I was a teenager, all I ever heard was how men are selfish jerks. Later, I was pleasantly surprised to realize that's just not true. People really need to drop the stereotypes. They hurt everyone. Thinking in cliches isn't cool. I honestly believe that if I hadn't been fed so much nonsense about guys when I was younger, I would have treated them with a lot more kindness and respect. When you live with a guy, it constantly feels like he's annoyed at you or mad about something, but he's really not. When my boyfriend and I first moved in together, I spent the first couple months convinced I was already driving him nuts. He'd zone out a lot, stay quiet, and give me these short one-word answers. It turns out he's just off in his own head thinking about random stuff, and it has nothing to do with me or our relationship. My guy does this too. I think he's mad at me, but he's actually trying to remember which Star Wars movie had that specific droid. My boyfriend is obsessed with all my girly stuff. Body scrubs, lotions, face masks, anti-aging creams. Sometimes I'll walk into the bathroom and he's already in there with a pink clay mask on, peeking out from behind a towel like, 5 more minutes and I'll be gorgeous. We're just afraid someone's gonna catch us in the act of buying that stuff. All right, here's the secret playbook. Speaking as a dude who sometimes buys women's products for himself, Step 1, walk into the store. Step 2, find the shelf with the stuff you want. Step 3, grab it and go to the cashier. Yes, sometimes there's a line. Step 4, exchange money for goods. And that's it. The real trick, don't care. The cashier doesn't care. And if you're worried your buddies will find out and tie you to a pole in the middle of Wyoming at gunpoint, just tell them it's for your girlfriend, your sister, your neighbor, or even your dog if she's got dry skin.
Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Ladies, drop a comment and tell us what surprised or shocked you the most when you first moved in with your boyfriend. And guys, don't be shy. We want to hear your side of the story too.